Planning a trip to Italy? Then you've probably heard about Cinque Terre, 5 amazing villages on the stunning Italian Riviera.
But before you pack your bags, watch this video.
Hi everyone, we're Kristian and Martina, locals with insider knowledge, and in this video we are sharing everything you need to know to make your Cinque Terre adventure unforgettable.
We're gonna share the best places to stay, hidden food gems, how to avoid tourist traps, and much more. This is your ultimate guide. And make sure to watch until the end for our exclusive bonus tips as locals. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, welcome to Do's Bucket List. In this channel we're gonna share everything we know about travel tips, recommendations to make your next trip in Italy but also around the world extraordinary.
But before we start, let's do a quick introduction. I am Kristian.
And I'm Martina.
We are an Italian couple living in Australia since almost 3 years.
In the past we spent years exploring and traveling our beautiful country, and last year we got back home and we did a 6 weeks road trip around Italy.
But this time we had a different point of view because we were not just locals but also tourists.
3, 2, 1.
During this 6 weeks road trip, we also got back to Cinque Terre. For me, it was the second time, and for Kristian, it was actually the first time.
I wanted to know what was all the fuss about.
So today, we're gonna share our local knowledge with a tourist perspective to help you plan your perfect trip to this Italian beautiful gem.
Let's dive in.
Let's start.
Let's start. In this video, we're gonna cover why Cinque Terre is an absolute must visit, how to get there, get around, and where to stay. A deep dive into the 5 villages and what makes each of them so special. Insider tips to avoid tourist traps and discover authentic experiences.
Also our bonus local tips, and trust us, you don't want to miss them, so make sure to watch until the end. Okay, first of all, Cinque Terre literally means 5 lands, and these 5 villages that you can see in the map are Monterosso, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola and Rio Maggiore. They are located along Italy's Riviera coastline.
Whether you're planning a romantic trip or a one-day adventure, the charm of colorful buildings, dramatic cliffs and the freshest seafood will make you fall in love. And here is the best part. They are small, close together and easily connected by train, so even a day trip is doable.
So even if you don't have much time, you can easily visit Cinque Terre in just 1 day.
And now we're gonna show you how.
So now that we covered why it's so worth it to visit Cinque Terre, we're gonna share with you how to get around and where to stay.
Forget the car. Trains are your best friends in Cinque Terre. In fact, parking is gonna be impossible. We recommend the daily train pass, which can be quite expensive because during the peak seasons it's over 30 euros. But it allows you to take the train that passes every 30 minutes to each of the small villages, plus also it gives you access to the walking tracks,
Which are beautiful, so make sure to do at least one of them.
and if you're athletic enough you can just walk. And we're gonna tell you which ones we would recommend to do for a daily trip and which ones will take you too much time to do if you want to visit all of the Cinque Terre in 1 day only.
We can leave the map in the description.
And now let's talk about the accommodation. Of course you can stay in one of the 5 villages, but it can get quite expensive. So we are gonna recommend you a few villages around that can be very well connected and be great for your stay.
For example, we stayed in Rapallo. The reason we decided to choose Rapallo as our accommodation for our stay in Liguria is because I know it very well, as I used to go there as a child with my parents. It is also a very beautiful and well-equipped town, very popular with locals, perhaps a little less popular with tourists. So it is possible to find cheaper accommodation than in one of the 5 villages in Cinque Terre. In addition, there is a train station with which you can reach Cinque Terre in less than 40 minutes, so very convenient. We can also recommend a couple of other beautiful towns, which are first Santa Margherita Ligure, which is very close to Rapallo, beautiful as well. Is a small hidden gem, probably a little bit more famous than Rapallo because it's close to Portofino. So sometimes tourists go there to visit Portofino and then Santa Margherita Ligure. The other one is Sestri Levante, and lastly, another convenient location for accommodation in the Cinque Terre is Levanto. All of these towns, they all have a train station, so you can go to Cinque Terre easily, just take the train.
Without any changes because the train is a straight line to the Cinque Terre.
Anyways, we link to some of our topics in the description, so check it out if you want to have a look. I forgot to mention, you can also stay in La Spezia. La Spezia is the closest city to Cinque Terre, so it is very convenient, yes, but can also be very expensive for this reason. That's why we recommend the other cities we mentioned earlier. If you stay in La Spezia, maybe it's better if you start visiting from Riomaggiore to Monterosso. Instead, if you decide to book your hotel or your accommodation in the other towns that we mentioned earlier, for example, Levanto, Sestri Levante or Rapallo, it's probably easier if you start visiting from Monterosso, ending with Riomaggiore.
We stayed in the west part of Cinque Terre, and the first village to encounter with the train has been Monterosso. Monterosso is the largest and most beachy village. It's perfect for relax and swim. You can also wander the medieval old town and make sure to check out the Nettuno statue.
Prima tappa delle Cinque Terre a Monterosso. Abbiamo pensato, sì, veniamo di lunedì così c'è meno gente.
Abbiamo preso il treno alle 8:30 da Rapallo.
Perché stiamo alloggiando lì?
E prima ora, quando siamo arrivati qua, era abbastanza tranquillo. In un'ora sono iniziati ad arrivare tipo flotte di persone.
È molto bella per passare una giornata al mare, Monterosso.
Sì. Spiaggia.
The second one is Vernazza. This village is literally a postcard. Vernazza is perfect for those who want to relax and take a swim in the picturesque harbor. You can also climb up for a visit to Doria Castle, and finally Vernazza is perhaps my favorite for food because there are a lot of local specialties such as the fresh pesto.
Vale la pena, devo dire che
C'è una bella vista.
si va a Monterosso se si fa la piottata.
The third one is Corniglia, but unfortunately we skipped it the last time because first it's different from the other villages because it's like perched in a hill, so it's also quite difficult to reach. Like you can still reach it by train, but we decided to skip it because it's the least recommended by locals. But
yeah, if you have only one day, we definitely would recommend to skip this one rather than the other four.
But this is on our list for next time, promise. But if you decide to visit, you just need to know that it's perched on a hill and is the most peaceful village with this breathtaking view.
The fourth is Mannarola, famous for its vineyard and sunset. We recommend to hike up to Punta Bonifaglio for panoramic views, and don't miss out to try Cinque Terre, the local dessert wine.
And then the last one, Riomaggiore, which is probably or my first or my second favorite with Vernazza. It is this beautiful village with these colorful houses.
I would say for me is my favorite one because it's how you would imagine.
Yeah,
So,
probably is the most iconic one.
this one is reachable from Mannarola by a new freshly opened track that unfortunately we haven't been able to do because it was still under renovation during the time we went. But now it should be opened. The name of the track is Via dell'Amore.
Which literally means the street of love.
So romantic.
Yeah, or the road of love. Very romantic.
And now the fourth part of the video, probably the most
Interesting one.
yes, the insider trips and the food recommendations by locals. When you get there, you probably will get overwhelmed by the amount of restaurants and options for food and drinks.
Because there are so many options. You would like to try everything, but trust us, not all of the restaurants or the bars are good, unfortunately. We're gonna deep dive in a separate video how to avoid the tourist traps in Italy with more details, but for now, our best recommendation is first, make sure to always check the Google reviews and also to avoid the restaurants which are located in touristy squares or main attractions like the monuments, for example, like Colosseum.
So I would say Google Maps is gonna be your best friend.
Local tips, every region in Italy has its own food culture. So make sure also to check on Google or ask ChatGPT what kind of food it's recommended for that region. For example, if you are visiting Liguria, we don't recommend eating dishes like carbonara in Liguria because it's not very typical of this region.
Bolognese.
Or lasagne bolognese. I mean, you can definitely find a good restaurant also for carbonara or bolognese, but as a locals, we recommend to try the authentic dishes of that specific specific region.
And I can tell you honestly that in that region you will never find the same taste in other regions of the same food. So definitely go for the local food for each region and each village you visit.
For example, for Liguria, which is the region where Cinque Terre are located, there are some specific food. For example, definitely try focaccia, pesto. There is this particular type of pasta called testaroli, which is an Italian dish made by spongy pasta sheets that are cut into diamond or regular shapes. And this pasta is made by flavor, water and salt, so it's very simple and it's delicious with the pesto sauce. Definitely get focaccia in Liguria because it's so good and very different compared to the other focaccias you're gonna try your entire life. It's so soft, so tasty. Just try it, it's delicious.
Yeah, definitely. Like when the first time I tried focaccia from Liguria, it tasted completely different from all other focaccias that I tried before in Italy.
Another local dish from Liguria is farinata di ceci, which is this delicious dish. It's a sort of savory chickpeas flour pancake, which is soft in the inside and crispy on the outside. And if you're wondering, this is also vegan and gluten-free. And another one is called panzotti with salsa di noci. I know it's probably unpronounceable, but these are a sort of dumplings with walnut sauce. They are super popular within the locals, so if you find them in a restaurant, try them because they are highly recommended.
And the last one, of course, the famous pesto. Pesto is gonna be the king of Liguria. You'll find it everywhere, all types of pasta, especially
Trophy.
definitely recommended. It's a very particular shape of pasta that you'll mostly see in Liguria. Watch out to choose it well. The color must be very green. That means it's very fresh.
Yeah, a quick local tip to recognize a good pesto. The color is very, very green. It's like a very intense green. So if you see it, it's a good pesto.
If it's brownish, you see it in the supermarket and it's like brownish, that means it's not very fresh. So definitely go for the greenest one.
And of course, seafood. Of course, try seafood because in Liguria it's so fresh and good pretty much everywhere.
Check Google reviews first, but it's usually fresh.
We prepared a list of our top food picks and all the restaurants we tried or bars we tried during our trip to Cinque Terre.
For lunch, for example, we went to Il Gattaccio. We ordered a sandwich with a grilled octopus, which was delicious. And of course, we couldn't miss out on the fresh fried fish.
In Italy we call it fritto misto. For the focaccia we tried il massimo della focaccia in Monterosso.
It's your first stop. We recommend you to buy a bunch. Keeps you going for the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. When you're hungry you can just eat a slice of focaccia. So, and it's also pretty cheap. Like usually it's like €1 for one slice of plain focaccia because of course there are different flavors like tomato focaccia, potato focaccia, olives focaccia, but also the plain one is so good.
Another place that we would definitely recommend for a stunning sunset view and an Aperol Spritz by the sea, it's Nessun Dorma. Unfortunately, we didn't go because we didn't book in time, but make sure to book the place.
It's a very famous spot on Instagram. I'm sure if you're checking like Italy, Cinque Terre, best picture spot, wherever, best restaurants, Nessun Dorma is on the top. So make sure to book in time, find a spot and not like us totally ignoring it.
If you learn something new about Cinque Terre and gonna use some of our tips, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel.
Cinque Terre is a bucket list destination that deserves to be explored the right way. With these tips and recommendations, you'll experience it like a local and make unforgettable memories. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Duo's Bucket List for more insider tips and travel inspiration.
See you in our next adventure.